It's September 14th, 2021, and you are listening to the Take the Over podcast presented by Live Casino Pittsburgh. Let's go! All right. Welcome to the Take the Over podcast presented by Live Casino Pittsburgh. I'm your host, Derek Nosner. Joining me today is, as always, our faithful co-host, Drew Hertzko, and he's disappointed in me. Drew is disappointed in me. Drew?
I'm having deja vu. Am I having deja vu?
You're not.
I feel like you just said all that
I did.
before.
I did. So what happened was we were about 3 minutes into the podcast, and I looked down, and I realized that we weren't recording because that would make more sense. But Drew, let's not dwell on the past. We are all humans. We all make mistakes. At least I figured it out 2 minutes into the podcast and not 17 minutes into the podcast, because then you would have missed your bowling league because you're 90 and you have a bowling league tonight.
It's duck pin and it's electric. So I don't know. It's neither here nor there. I'm more thinking about the 180 seconds that we lost. That I lost.
Well, if we dwell on that, we'll never be able to move forward. So,
let's just dwell on it a little bit right now, because I don't know if we can redo any of that magic that took place right there.
It was magical.
So I don't know. Where do you want to begin? Let's just
pretend
let's do it over again.
Let's just jump right into it.
We're actors. Let's just do the same thing we just did.
Same song and dance. So we got a great show for you guys today. I promise it's going to be good. It didn't start well for us here, but it's going to be good for you guys.
They don't know any different.
I know.
It didn't start well for you.
It did start well for me. I'll take the L. So what's going to happen today? We have a great show.
9-6-1 this week.
We are 9-6-1 this week because we took a loss. We are 9-5-1 on the podcast on bets that we picked. So we're going to talk some of the bets that we took this past week. We are going to talk about some of the bets that we like coming up this upcoming week. We're going to talk some overs. We're going to talk some parlays. Of course, our hot take and our Bet The Haus, but our hot take that almost hit this last week. It almost, we were real close. We were real close this last week. I had Jets and Bengals money line for like 674, and we were close.
Colts let me down.
Well, they're going to do that.
In the hot take. They have a great franchise. I think they are the 2021 version of the Falcons for me. Like Falcons you always think are going to be kind of good. You thought Falcons were going to be kind of
good. Way wrong, huh?
It happens to everybody. I myself included. So I think the Colts are the new Falcons for me. You know, an AFC team plays in a dome. I guess they're the AFC Falcons.
Wow. I mean, it's week one. You're already selling out on them. You're already down on them.
I can already see. Where this.
What don't you like about the?
Well, I didn't get a chance to watch that game really. But you know what? Jalen Hurts in a familiar building. Oh, wow, I wonder who called that one.
Wow. Let's roll it back.
I still like the. I don't know. I think I have high hopes for Carson and Frank Reich to figure that out over there. And I don't know. They're plus 140 to win the division right now. So
that's pretty good.
Not that's. I mean, you're going against the Titans, the Texans, and the Jaguars. Not that it's like
the Titans, man. You want to talk about a train wreck.
You and I to win that division are plus 500.
Yeah. Hold on, hit that up. Take the over listeners if you're out there. Drew and I. Did you play any football growing up?
Yeah, sixth grade nose tackle, 8th grade center. So I've been on both sides of the ball.
All right. Well, I don't have the frame for any kind of football, so I think it should be higher than that. It probably should be like plus 1,200, maybe more. But let's talk a little bit about some of the games that we got right and some of the games that we got wrong, because that's what a sports betting podcast does. As I mentioned, we did finish 9-5-1 last week. Some of the ones that we really liked or that we really enjoyed, that I really enjoyed, we called it everybody and their brother seems to. Okay, first off, on Thursday, before the game kicked off, everybody and their brother's like, well, the line can't be high enough. You're getting points in your Tampa Bay. The line can't be high enough. And I told Drew, and I talked Drew into it last week to go Dallas plus 8.5. And then Friday, everyone was like, huh. Oh, I had Dallas. Plus 8.5 too. No one did. But
everyone except who?
Everyone except us. We had it. And that hit. And not only did that hit, Drew, CD Lamb hit.
Yeah. Did you watch that game?
Yeah, well, all of it.
Did you see like the first 3 passes thrown his way were drops?
I texted you. I texted you. I was like, CD Lamb eating popcorn out here before the game. Drew says, "Oof."
I'm reliving that right now. Just like I just felt bad for our listeners that they, I got some feedback that that people like that I didn't know what the line was. I just said whatever it is, it's over.
It's over.
It's true. It was true.
It did happen.
They could not set that high enough.
No.
I don't know about this week. They actually, I thought they were going to favor CD in favor of Amari Cooper, or instead of Amari Cooper, but actually they threw to Amari a good bit as well.
I think he had like 9 or 10 catches for 100 and some yards plus a touchdown.
And CD would have been there if he would have just caught the football.
Yeah, you would have been in bed by halftime.
Right,
that bet,
right,
for sure.
Right. Yeah, so that one hit. I was glad to bring that one home for the gang because I had a lot of confidence in that one. The other nice. Did I already talk about the Chargers, or was that in the unrecorded?
That was in the unrecorded.
Okay, I don't want to. Everybody's favorite Chargers.
Yeah.
I already had a little rant about the 22.5 points, and they were
your
in the red
favorite
zone.
Chargers.
Everybody's favorite Chargers.
These are your guys.
Oh, Herbert's the truth. He's
Washington defense is no joke, and he lit it up. I mean,
shout out, Justin. I know you're watching.
Justin, shout out to you. We appreciate you. So you did like the Chargers that last week, and they hit. They were. So when we recorded the podcast, this is what's so weird about sports betting right now, especially with everything going on. When we recorded the podcast, the Chargers were -1.5 point favorites on the road, and was it Saturday? I texted you and I said, "Hey, by the way, the Chargers are now getting 1.5." And you said, "Wait, getting 1.5?"
right.
And turns out they didn't need it because they ended up covering, and you were right all the way around there. So good on you.
Yeah, they got a little help from Fitzmagic going down early. Don't know what's going to happen there, but you know what? That's part of the game.
He's on IR, out a couple weeks.
That's part of the game. I mean, you don't know what would have happened if he would have stayed in the game.
Sure,
like we can't play the game with him in it for 4 quarters. But no, you know what? That doesn't matter. If you bet the Chargers -1, I think it was -1. If you bet the Chargers -1. Or +1.5, either way. You had a great Sunday.
Money's good. Your money is good here. So that one hit, and that was a big one. One of the ones that I'm the most proud of for at least calling or at least drawing attention to was that San Francisco over 27 and it was over 27 points when I bet it. It got up to 27.5. It was at 28 at halftime. And it ended up getting up to I think 44, 30 something. I mean, that was go to bed early on that one. Thank you, Jimmy G. And Trey Lance even had a touchdown in there, so everybody was scoring. I'm pretty sure some guys in Section 105 scored that game. So that was perfect. So it was a really good start of the year. We were wrong on a few. I mean, we were wrong on which one here? Tennessee absolutely got demolished. I don't know if you watched that game at all, Drew, but Tennessee looked horrible. Chandler Jones had 5 sacks in that game, and
I did watch a little bit of that game actually. I was looking back on really quickly before we change gears to that. Yeah. I was looking back on the stats of that Detroit game. Jared Goff threw 57 times. I don't know if you knew that.
Yeah.
That's a lot for somebody that I don't think is that good of a quarterback.
I mean, they're riding him.
He threw for over 300, but if you throw 57 times, if you attempt 57 throws, you should throw for over 300. He had 24 catches between 2 running backs and his tight end.
Jesus.
So 24 of his 38 completions.
Yeah, 38.
So he only had 14 completions to wide receivers. I was surprised to see that they had 33 points in that game. Because I knew your 49ers bet was nice, and then I was surprised to see that, so I wanted to see how that happened. That might be something to watch. If they're going to throw him that much every game.
Can they? I mean, that's the big thing. I don't think they can throw him that much that game.
I almost want to look back and see how many times Matt Stafford threw for 57 attempts last year.
Yeah, but it's a completely different coaching staff, so you can't really put a whole lot of stock in that. But yeah, I definitely agree that's a ton.
Well, I was just thinking, you want to create a game plan that the other team doesn't expect. I don't know if anybody expected Jared Goff to throw 57 times.
I don't think Jared Goff expected to throw the ball. He kept calling it. It's like Madden. Coach's suggestions, all passes. Like what?
He walked out like a pitcher. He had his shoulder all iced up and his arm wrapped in wet towels.
What's crazier is they have a really good running back. DeAndre Swift is like one of the best running backs in the league. So why are they not using him? Especially when you know you're playing an opponent that's probably going to be better than you. So keep them off the field by staying on the field longer, by completing some passes and then running the ball a little bit, chewing some clock, but not Dan Campbell over there. He said, "Screw it, my guys are better than your guys. I'm just gonna," and they weren't for that. So so we ended up losing a little bit. We did call Cincinnati money line win. I'm pretty pumped about that. Joe Burrow came back and played well.
He did.
Jamar Chase, I said he would go for 75 yards and a touchdown. He actually went for over 100 yards and a touchdown. So good on you, Jamar Chase. If we had a game ball to give you, we would. But we actually don't have any game balls here, so we won't give you anything like that. But anything else that you wanted to touch on and the bets that we took last week or hit or lost?
Did I already mention the Colts in this one, or was that in the unrecorded part?
I think it was here too, but
okay.
You can mention it.
Yeah, again. The Colts. I like the program still. I think that they're gonna. I think the franchise is gonna be good. Jalen Hurts in a familiar building. I don't know if I said that on this part of the unrecorded part, so I'll say it again. That was my only other one that I felt good about the Colts. I was saddened to see that they did not perform, but the Chargers brought me back.
It's just crazy to me. Like you're already like you called the Colts, and I don't know again. We're not sure if it was on this one or the previous one, but you called the Colts the Atlanta Falcons. You called the Colts your AFC Atlanta Falcons.
Oh yeah. I don't know if that was on the unrecorded part or the recorded part.
It was on this one.
But I think
the unrecorded one.
So the Colts, I think the Colts could be like the AFC Falcons, where people think the Falcons are good, me myself included. I think the Falcons always have a chance to win a game. Like you see the Falcons line, and you're always like, oh yeah, the Falcons could win that one.
Yeah.
Literally, well now, like in previous years, 16 weeks out of the year was the Falcons could cover that one. They can cover that, right? And it's like even whenever they're like plus 6.5, it's like they can cover that. They might win it.
Yeah, they might win a money line.
And I think the Colts are going to kind of be that way. Hopefully not, but they could be the AFC version of playing in a dome, and you think that they're really good, and you think that they're going to cover, and then maybe not. So
I mean,
I hope that's
definitely.
Not the case, but I still have hope in the Colts. I think that they could be. I'm gonna stick with the Colts this year.
Well, we're gonna find out how much you're gonna stick with the Colts this year, because we are going to hop into a look ahead. Before we do that, do we want to do a quick ad read for our title partner? The beautiful people over there at the Live Casino in Pittsburgh, which, by the way, these lines, we're recording this on Tuesday this week, so the lines are going to move. They're going to change a ton. If you like a line that we say on the podcast, you should get it early. You should get it as soon as this comes out, which will be tomorrow, which will be Wednesday.
Hot soup.
Get that now. Also, if you're not sure, you want to see where we're going after the lines change a little bit or anything like that, you can follow us on Instagram at TakeTheOverPod, or you can go to TakeTheOverPod.com to catch all of our updated lines and updated picks and things of that nature.
Yeah, I wrote a nice college football blog last week.
That was pretty good.
Thank you.
Yeah. My mom liked it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yes.
She didn't understand it.
Know your audience.
She liked it. So, yeah, she didn't quite understand it. So, so please check that out as well. We're giving away money. So, I don't know why you don't want to be here and accept some free money. So, here we go. Let's do a little ad read for our partners. Esther, do you want to do it this week or do you want me to do it this week?
Yeah, I want to do it. I always want the ball.
It's in your email.
Ooh.
Oh, geez. I sent it to him 4 hours ago. He's refusing to.
No, that's false.
Check it when you get it.
That's false.
You can email Drew at big sexy daddy at gmail.com. Is that still your email?
Ad read for the podcast. That was at 12:35 p.m.
All right, so it's 5.5 hours
currently
ago.
12:36.
Yeah. All right, Drew, take it away.
Gridiron Glory promotion. Do I start there?
No, I'd probably start underneath that.
Announcer VO. Do you mind?
No.
I'm reading this one. Football season is back, and the best place to cheer on your favorite team is at Live Casino. Watch all college and pro action on their 2-story media wall. You told me about that last week.
It's a big wall.
And place your bets at the FanDuel Sportsbook. Plus, play Gridiron Glory for a chance to win $5,000 in free slot play. Visit pittsburgh.livecasinohotel.com/promotions for complete rules and details. Watch, wager, and win at Live Casino, Route 30 in the Westmoreland Mall. It's game time. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Boom. That media wall is impressive. Drew and I are actually going to head down to the casino next week.
That's correct.
So we're gonna do we're gonna talk to the fine people down there and just make sure the podcast is going well. Everybody's listening and enjoying it.
You told me we were playing Xbox on the casino.
There's a 2-story media wall, and we're gonna see how much pool we have down there because I'm pretty sure we're gonna try to play some Call of Duty on that media wall. So if you're listening to this, fire it up because we want some of that. We want some of that. I know Drew does this thing where he likes, when the podcast comes out, he likes to be not surprised by the lines, but he likes to feel the lines, right? Like, so he comes in. I do a lot of notes. I'm very the opposite. Drew's a different personality, but I come in with a lot of notes, and Drew's just like, I'm feeling the Chargers this week, -1 and -1 point. You know what? I'm going to bet everything the Chargers can offer me, and you know what? He hits his Bet the House. I don't hit my Bet the House. So if you guys are listening to this, go with the vibes here because Drew is holding this podcast together. But we should probably start with Thursday night because by the time this comes up, by the time this comes out, it'll basically be Thursday, which means that you have a chance to win some money with us. I love this time of the year because we got football, Thursday through Monday?
Yeah.
I mean, how do you say no to that? I mean, that is, I sign me up for all of that. So the Thursday night game this week is Washington football team minus Fitzmagic against the Daniel Jones Giants. And right now that line is at 3 points. See if it's still there. I think it's still there. It's still at 3. Still at 3?
It's still 3. Correct. That's correct. Washington football team -3 is -118.
So it's there for a little while. So how do you feel about this? Because I'll tell you where I'm leaning. I'm leaning Washington football team -3. They have a great defense. We saw what the Giants did last week against a great defense in Denver. They did not do well. Denver probably has probably one of the best defenses in the league. I understand that. But the Giants, they lost that game by, I think, like 7 or 8 points. I know that this week's a little bit different because Ryan Fitzmagic is out. He's on IR. But the biggest matchup an NFL team can exploit. If you're scheming for an NFL game, the biggest matchup you can exploit is your front four versus their front four. And if your front four is better than their front four, you have a real good chance. So the Washington football team has one of the best front fours. The Giants have a very average offensive line and Chase Young. So I don't see it being a shootout, but I do see the Washington football team covering. So I like them -3.5.
I don't know if it's because of the things I just looked at or because of what I heard you say, but I'm on your side here.
That's
I think
smart.
Washington -3. I think Washington -3. The fact that you're talking about like the front four versus front four, exploiting that, like you sound like you should be like a coach somewhere. Like you've done your research. I don't think like. I don't know. I might start like Penn Hills Middle School.
All right.
And
X's
then
and O's.
Start as just the line coach. Since
Sure.
the front four versus front four is like the biggest thing. I would start there. But what
that.
I was looking at was that we're gonna have Heineke behind center for the Washington football team. So that's what he had 70% completion percentage. It takes care of the football. Daniel Jones. Not only the quarterback for the New York Giants, but the leading rusher in Week 1.
He beat Saquon.
He beat Saquon in Week 1.
He also lost the most fumbles.
Talking about the front four versus front four. If Saquon Barkley is rushing for 26 yards in a game, I think that's a clear sign that the front four might not be doing what they need to be doing.
Right.
And if it's only going to get worse against, I know I might actually watch that game. Well, it's Thursday night. Yeah, so I'll probably watch that. But I mean, I might actually pay attention to just that front four from Washington's defense because they are. I remember they were impressive last year. I don't know who else changed, but I know that they were impressive last year.
They were.
And that I think that -3 is making a whole lot of sense to me right now.
Yeah, they were, and you really just got to watch Chase Young because that man is a whole man. Like he's done nothing but impress every single week that he's been in the league. He always gets the quarterback. The beautiful thing here too that a lot of people aren't talking about, they're worried about Tyler at the quarterback for the Washington football team. They're worried about him, but they also don't have a ton of tape on him. Taylor? Is it Taylor?
Don't worry, we'll get to the bottom of this.
I mean, is it?
We have the technology.
It's not Ryan Fitzpatrick. So moment of silence for Ryan.
It's Taylor Heineke.
Taylor. Sorry, guys. I didn't mean to.
Don't say sorry to me. Say sorry to Taylor.
Sorry, Taylor. If you're listening.
Bonus points if you guess what school he went to.
Boise State.
Old Dominion, close.
That wasn't close. That was not even in this. It's not even in the same time zone. But Boise State was a good one to pull off the top of my head. I don't know why I was thinking about them, but but they don't have a lot of tape on him. So they don't have a lot of footage on him. They don't have a lot of tape on him. They don't know his tendencies very well. Whereas Ryan Fitzpatrick, you probably do know his tendencies. His tendencies are to grow a beard and make babies. Because he's got like 15 kids. So I like that one a lot for the Thursday night game. And then that's where we're at. So we got Washington football team -3. We don't have any player prop bets on that yet. But we'll tweet some out. So So follow the Instagram. We always post our tweets.
I would say that with the poor quarterbacks that are playing, I would take, if there's an over on the receptions for the running backs, I would consider that.
Ooh, and you know what? They both have really good running backs. So they both have guys that could really do something this year. I mean, Saquon obviously is the number 2 overall pick. So
looks like on FanDuel we have access to the player receiving yards.
Okay.
I don't see
receptions yet.
I don't see receptions. I don't see running backs in that category.
I'll tell you a player prop up to hammer this week.
By the way, that's smart on FanDuel's part because they would have lost all their money.
Yeah, they can't release it before we report.
Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah. I'll tell you a player prop bet to hammer this week. I don't know what the line is because I don't think it's up yet. But Darren Waller over whatever. Catches, yards, don't go touchdowns, but maybe anytime touchdown scorer. But, dude, did you watch the game last night?
Yeah, and Darren Waller was a first-round pick for me in fantasy.
Ooh, first round.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, John Gruden said he's the best player he ever coached, so suck on that. All the other players that John Gruden coached, you know what I mean? Like he really loves him. He was targeted 18 times. 18. I had Henry Ruggs as a player prop bet last night, and every time they threw the ball, and I was like, "Was that Henry Ruggs?" Sure wasn't.
Is Henry Ruggs there? Is he wearing 83 this quarter? No, he's not.
It was bad, man. They didn't. He ended up covering but I needed him to score too because it was like plus 417. We tweeted that out again to take the overpod. Yeah, he ended up covering, but I lost the other half of that where he needed to score touchdowns. So that's who we got for the Thursday night game. So just do you
have any feelings on the over/under at 40.5 in that game?
I mean, 40.5. I do have a feeling, but I don't. It's not what the podcast wants to hear. So
I'm glad I didn't take any of the unders last week. I didn't take the under in last week's Thursday night game. Right. I talked about it and said you may want to consider it.
Right, but that
thank good. Yeah, thank everything gracious. I did not take that.
Yeah, that game went way over. 40.5. I mean, that's 3 touchdowns, 4 touchdowns a piece. I mean,
3 apiece.
6
total. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's doable, but these are some good defenses that we're talking about here. I mean, Washington football team's got an amazing defense.
Does the defense score touchdowns?
Well, that's the problem. They prevent them.
But I mean, they
can.
Strip sack,
sure,
fumble,
they can.
6.
Yeah, especially with Daniel Jones in there, they can definitely score some touchdowns. So,
yeah, we'll stay away from that one.
Yeah, probably stay away from that one. Just cheer for -3.
I like that.
Okay, perfect. So we got some other ones here. Do you see any lines that jump out to you? Because there were a few lines that jumped out to me.
I think every week, just being in the geographic region we're in, I think it makes sense to talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers, who are -5.5, hosting the Las Vegas Raiders. I think that did
Las Vegas impress you last night?
Yeah, I think that. Well, nah. I mean,
they beat the Ravens.
So yes and no. Okay. I mean, I don't think the Ravens are that impressive. They don't have their starting running back out for the year.
Sure.
Lamar Jackson did impress me. I think that I was kind of with the the announcers or the analysts whenever they said they talked to Lamar about teams figure you out this year, and he said I highly doubt that. And he showed it. He was making plays on the field. And some good, some bad, but he impressed me a lot. But Vegas did impress me as well, coming from behind and doing everything that they did. That was a wild game.
Yeah, it really was.
I think Vegas is going to be. I think Vegas is going to be underrated for most of this year. I think +5.5 is a lot of points. I think there's a chance that they win this game.
You think it's just like the high that the Steelers are coming off that high from beating Buffalo, like they went into Buffalo and they took them down. So now you're like, this could be a letdown week. Is that what you're thinking?
I also think that Vegas, John Gruden is going to be talking. I think he's going to be hyped about playing Pittsburgh. He's going to be talking all week about we're going to Pittsburgh. That's not a good John Gruden impression, but we're just sorry, John.
His
he is definitely watching. So I feel horrible. He told me last week whenever I was doing it for him, he's like, "That's not that good."
Hey man, that ain't good.
Yeah, that's also
that's
not
even
very good.
worse.
But I think John Gruden's going to be really hyped up on like we're going to Pittsburgh. We're going to play.
I agree.
We're going to go play some Steel City football, and he's going to get his guys like amped up about like they think like we're a bunch of pansy or I don't know what he's going to. I feel like
Smash
I feel like that's going to be the message that John sends his team. And I feel like it's going to be. I don't feel like it's necessarily going to be received, but once Vegas is in Pittsburgh and they're coming off of their win,
sure.
I think that they're on a short week, but that could be winning a game like that. That could be momentum to carry you through.
A little banged up. They're a little banged up. So I do like the Steelers. If I was going to take anything in this game, I do like the Steelers. Do you know what the line is? They over unders in that? I know it's 5.5, which
46.5.
Okay, so what if we did like a little 3-point teaser, got that down to 2.5, and then tease the over under down 3 points? That might be the play there.
So you're thinking 2.5. We can't do any of that yet since it's Tuesday.
Right, minus 2.5 for Pittsburgh.
But
pick covers by a field goal, and then over. What was it? 43.5.
46.5 was the over under, but you can tease it down.
Yeah, so 43.5. I think that's the play right there. What do you think?
No,
I think the Steelers looked impressive. I mean, the Steelers looked.
Raiders plus 5.5. I think.
You think teasing it up the other way?
I think the game goes over.
Do you want to?
I think you could do Raiders. You could do Raiders money line. I think honestly on this game. I'm not going to do that. I'm not taking that as a pick of mine, but I'm taking Raiders plus 5.5.
Well, what makes you so confident in the Raiders?
I think Darren Waller.
Sure.
I think the Steelers defense, especially their secondary, played way too well last week.
But one thing that the Ravens don't do that the Steelers are going to do is they're going to get to Derek Carr, and I don't think Derek Carr was under a ton of pressure. I mean, he had time to throw.
Oh, he was.
I mean, but it's not. Marlon Humphrey is covering Darren Waller.
He doesn't make a ton of good.
I don't know.
My amateur, non really like just watching football as a spectator for the most part.
Sure.
Analysis of Derek Carr is that he prayed. I think about this. I thought about this last night when I was watching the game. He sounds like he's somebody that's doing his best impression of a professional quarterback, and nobody's called him out on it yet.
See,
even just hearing him, hearing him bark calls at the line,
right,
at the offensive line, he just sounds like somebody like even just hearing interviews of him, he sounds like he's talking the way that like in his mind, yeah, he is like from the outside. Just looked at like on a blank sheet of paper, like 2 quarterback, 3 quarterback, whatever, just a random, and you put Derek Carr's all of his tangibles, and if you want to call them intangibles, on there. He is like a pretty like standard stereotypical quarterback. But I don't think he's that good. So I think he makes throws under pressure.
Sure,
and he did some last night, especially the game winner.
Right,
he closed his eyes, I'm pretty sure, and then
he's just up here chucking it backyard football style.
And then I don't know. So I think. I think he doesn't mind the pressure. I think honestly, I think with or without pressure, it doesn't really change Derek Carr.
So if that
was a long way of saying with or without pressure, it doesn't change Derek Carr.
Okay, but let me ask you this: if the Raiders win money line, if you were to take the Raiders money line, that game goes over or under? Over. Yeah. You think it's a shootout?
I think there's a lot of points.
Okay. I mean that makes the most sense. I
think Najee comes back, home crowd pumping him up.
Sure.
Freiermuth with the Heath. Whenever they yelled Heath in that game, I laughed so hard.
The Steelers just don't understand. The fans are just like, that's one of our tight ends. We'll just yell
tight end catches the ball. It's Heath.
Is what we.
I love that though. I hope that stays forever.
Yeah,
stays forever.
There's gonna be a time where it doesn't make sense. Like the kid doesn't even know
they're
who
not
Heath Miller is.
Yeah, they're not gonna know the beginnings of Heath.
They're gonna be like, what
is going on?
Why is Pittsburgh so weird?
And
they put fries on salads.
Heinz Field. It's their last. It's Heinz Field's last, or it's Heinz's last year. I don't think they've signed a contract yet to renew their naming rights for the stadium. Wow. So I don't know how much money Heath Bar has, but if they did, that would be a great marketing tool for them.
You guys are going to be watching Steeler games at the Take the Over Stadium next year. So once we win enough money on these bets, we'll buy the stadium. We'll buy the naming rights for the stadium.
That sounds great. What $3.50? Is that what they?
Yeah, I think it's a little more important than that.
That's cool.
So one of the lines that really jumped out at me, I'm trying to see what the best one was here. This one sounds like an overreaction. Okay, so I think what we're going to see is you're going to see a lot of overreaction lines this week. You're going to see a lot of lines from the first week that people are like, oh, are they good? Are they bad? I don't know. What I do know is I'm still not sold on the Philadelphia Eagles, and I know there's a lot of Eagles fans in this area of the world, and they're probably mad at me for saying that. But but I'm just not ready to buy into the Eagles hype. So with that being said, I'm going to go San Francisco -3.5. All right, Philadelphia, there's no doubt about it. They blew the doors off of the AFC Colts this year. So they blew the doors off the Falcons, who, like Drew said, you can always like see how they could be in a game and see how they couldn't be in a game, especially with Matt Ryan. They were not in that game. Philadelphia's defense played well. They proved to me that they have a good defense. That being said, they played a really bad defense. The Falcons are a really bad defense. And yeah, the Eagles look good against a really bad defense, but now they're not going to play a bad defense. So I want to see how they play against a real defense. And 48 points, the offense was clicking for San Francisco. So I like San Francisco -3.5, but I could be wrong.
I haven't looked into that one at all. You always make compelling arguments, so kudos to you.
Thank you.
That you always make it sound good.
Hey, it's not about what you say, guys. It's about how you, even if you're wrong, say it with conviction. You're going to win all this money. I don't know how you lose, honestly. Did you lose last week?
Yeah, I don't know how. You put so much whenever one of your bets is losing and I see it's happening like on Sunday,
yeah,
I want to stop. I want to
call the refs because they're cheating.
Yeah,
that's what's happening.
I want to call into the game, like get on the intercom in the stadium and be like, guys, did you not hear what Derek said about the defense on the podcast? Why is the defense performing this well? Derek said it stunk,
right?
And it's like, you make a lot of great points, so kudos to you.
I appreciate that.
You also mentioned about lines that stood out to you.
Yeah,
the Browns being favored by 2 touchdowns. Did you see that?
It's 12.5 now.
It was
12.5. Okay, yeah.
It's 12. Yeah. So it's 2 touchdowns without the extra points.
Right.
People forget that. But the Houston Texans, are they supposed to be really bad? They beat Jacksonville they scored 37.
Yeah, but Jacksonville's also supposed to be really bad. Like, Jacksonville's a very bad team.
But you score 37 points in the NFL. It's like that's not a small feat.
No, that's
like
not.
It's hard. Cleveland's defense is that good. Myles Garrett was very good. I did see that in the game last week.
Right. Can I tell you something about this Texans team that no one's really talking about?
Yeah, go ahead.
They have a bunch of veterans.
Yeah.
It's not a young team.
Right.
They got Tyrod Taylor, who, by the way, has a winning record as a starting quarterback in the NFL.
T-Mobile.
You know how hard that is? There's a lot of quarterbacks start for 3 years and don't.
How many times has he started a game where the and really you think about it, just let me finish the first thought. How many times has he started a game where like the fan base and I guess the coaches do have confidence in him, but like the fan base is like, yeah, this is our quarterback. This is what's going on.
Pulled.
And don't forget about last year whenever the
Chargers.
Team doctor
stuck him in the lung.
Whoa, hey, sorry. You're
gonna feel a little pinch,
and your starting job, and it's gone. And it's like, so he was playing well for the Chargers last year.
And people forget the year before that.
Before the shot to the heart.
He was shot to the heart. He was playing well for Cleveland. And then Cleveland pulled him for Baker Mayfield, right? And the year before that, he was playing well for Buffalo. And then Buffalo pulled him. So this guy, you know who he reminds me of? You ever see the movie Good Luck Chuck?
No.
So it's with Dane Cook, so you know it's great. But so the Dane Cook's character, whoever he sleeps with, whenever he sleeps with a woman, they find the person they're supposed to marry like the next day, right? So he's the NFL's version of Good Luck Chuck, right? He goes in, plays for a team, and then they find their starting quarterback, Justin Herbert, Baker Mayfield, Josh Allen. You know what I mean? So he's the NFL's version of that. But that being said, do you like the Texans plus 12.5?
I don't know. I'm looking at their defense. I forgot to look at that.
That's a lot.
I forgot to look at their defense.
Their defense is bottom 5.
They do have a lot of assisted tackles though, which is nice for gang tackling. But again, they were playing the Jaguars, so take that with a grain of salt. Their offense though is very impressive to me. Brandon Cooks, Danny Amendola.
That's what I'm saying. They they got some guys. Look at their running backs.
They have
David Johnson,
Mark Ingram, Philip Lindsay, David Johnson. I think Lindsay got hurt.
And Tyrod Taylor's not going to make a ton of mistakes.
I agree with you.
He's just not.
I agree with you. I think that. I think I think
that's a lot.
I'm gonna take Texans plus 12.5.
Okay, you're the only person in America taking that, by the way. And I like that because you know what?
Well, that's because everybody else is smart enough to take the money line. Texans.
Texas money line. That's not even a hot take. That's just what Drew actually thinks is going to happen. No, that is you're the only person. No, and I like that because any given Sunday, man. Any given Sunday.
That's why you play the game, and everybody knows the Browns aren't gonna brown. They did it to themselves again this weekend.
I mean, dude, how crazy was
you
that
have
line?
the Chiefs on the ropes.
I like
Not
that.
necessarily on the ropes, but the Browns are going to brown.
Yeah. Well, at some point, you have to understand, too, in the NFL, there is, I won't say a level of respect, but there's definitely a level of respect that once you get up a certain amount, the coaches, they stop trying to push it so much, and they start trying to control the clock. They start trying to control the game because it's week 2. They don't want to gas their players. They don't want to injure themselves because there's a lot of money on the line. Not in this game. You're already up by 10. It doesn't matter. So 2-score games, I always try to stay away from, or big lines like that.
Double-digit lines in football or professional football.
College happens all the time. But you're right. And I think this has a real chance. I think you're right. I think you're right.
I think the offense can score enough points to where 12.5 is very hard to cover.
And the Browns have a great defense.
I think they're going to give up a lot of points, but
yeah.
So the Texans
over?
are.
So the over.
Yeah.
Yeah. I actually had that one written down. Texans over. Yep. Texans
nice.
Browns over.
What'd you have? What'd you get it at?
48.
And it's 48.5.
Perfect. So it's going up. So again, these lines are going to change. We're recording the podcast on Tuesday. These lines are 100% going to change. They're going to fluctuate a lot. One of the lines that stood out to me. So you got Texans. You're just going to go ahead and say over now, 48?
48.5, yeah.
Yeah, let's do that. Yeah. I think if it stays under 50, you take that.
By the way, are we going to change to the overs?
No, not yet. No.
Because there are 2 more double-digit lines this week.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about, I'm going to talk about at least one of them, but here's the game I have to talk about right now is 2 games, really. I'm going to throw them both at you, and I want to hear your thoughts on these, okay? New Orleans blows the doors off Aaron Rodgers and the Packers. Carolina squeaks a win past the Jets. New Orleans -3.
3.5 now.
Okay, 3.5. Let's call it 3.5. Let's call it 4. Who cares? Who gives a shit? You know what I mean? Like, that's still not enough points. And then the other one was Buffalo -3.5 over Miami. A lot of people are going to say, well, Miami beat the Patriots. Guess what? Miami's been beating the Patriots since 2017. Adam Gase was their coach. Ryan Tannehill was their quarterback, and they were beating the Patriots every time Patriots go to Miami. They lose a game. They lose the game every time. You look it up. Since 2017, the Patriots have lost a game in Miami every single year. So why are we surprised about that? Mac Jones played well. Tua played okay, but they still, so for me, 3.5, Buffalo.
Did they?
No, it hurts.
Did the Dolphins do something to you personally?
Yeah. I mean, if you want to talk about, they're in the Jets
division. This is the closest I've ever been. I don't know if you have a Halloween costume picked out, but Ray Finkel would be great.
Sorry for getting fired up, guys. Sorry I care.
Don't apologize.
No, I
show your true emotions. I appreciate that very much. So
Buffalo.
So we like Buffalo. So we like Buffalo. Buffalo's
they're it's
okay.
A get right game. The Buffalo does not have TJ Watt, who makes all the money in the world. They do not have TJ Watt. They're not going to put Josh
contend
Allen.
against.
They're contend against, right? So that's my thought is he's going to have more time to run around and pick apart the defense. And 3.5 seems like a fucking steal. If you're trying to, hey, you ever been have you been to the casino in Pittsburgh, the Greensburg, the live casino in Greensburg?
Still no.
Hey, you haven't been there yet?
Nope.
It's a big building.
Between last week and this week.
It's a big building. Let's make it smaller. Let's make it a little smaller. Hey, we're taking some money from FanDuel this week. We're taking all the money from FanDuel this week. I don't know. Buffalo 3.5 and Carolina, New Orleans -3.
You make a good point, Dina. My goal is to go to that casino and see like a section, like one corner of the casino that has all the lights turned off, all the machines turned off because they can't afford the power.
That's us
to supply those because they're paying out our winnings.
We did that.
Yep,
we did that for you guys for free. You know how many people don't give away good picks?
Whenever you see
free?
Lights out at the casino, mind your business.
or they just realize it's attached to a mall, and the mall probably just closed because malls haven't been relevant since Jeffrey Bezos. All right. So Drew, what do you think about those? I mean, obviously you like Buffalo because I talked you into that. There's no way you're not taking Buffalo.
I already did Buffalo. Yeah.
All right. So what about the New Orleans line? New Orleans, Carolina.
That one also I don't like that one as much. I still like the Christian McCaffrey over rushing and passing.
What about Alvin Kamara? I mean, they have their own Christian McCaffrey.
He had a NASCAR visor on. I don't know if you saw that.
I didn't.
Big NASCAR guy, Alvin Kamara.
Sorry, Alvin.
That's disrespectful.
It's disrespectful.
So I don't like McCaffrey's the only one I like betting for that over rushing and
so
passing.
player prop.
Yeah. Also ride that one with Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah, I think that's. I mean, dude, and I'll tell you right now, I watched the Jets game. Not many people watch the Jets game. I'm a dedicated and loyal, stupid fan. I watched the Jets game. Drew mentioned before we started recording that that's because a lot of people don't watch bottom teams in the NFL. Maybe that's true. But when you're a fan, you gotta support. You gotta support. You know what I mean? And I told you,
you don't have to do anything.
You do. You have to support your team.
No, you don't.
You have to support.
You can choose a team that you would rather support.
All right. Well, I'm just letting you know right now that you kind of have to support.
Some may call that front running. Shout out Tyler Golden in The Office. He's a fan of the L.A. Dodgers, Alabama Crimson Tide, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Los Angeles Lakers. So he's really got a nice mix of teams. But
sure.
So maybe it's maybe not like that, but maybe I don't know. Have you ever considered not cheering for the Jets?
I didn't even know it was an option, to be honest with you. That sounds like a much better option. Why didn't anybody tell me I could do that?
Yeah.
No.
Imagine your level of happiness.
You know what? I'm never going to be considered a bandwagon fan. That's never going to happen. No one's ever going to be like, hey, I bet he's
just
cheering for the Jets because they're good.
Take your pride cap off for 1 second. Just
Can't
set
do
it to the side.
Can't do it.
And look at yourself in the mirror and ask, would I really be cheering for the Jets?
Yeah.
If you could pick, if you were a video game character and you picked which team that video game character was rooting for, you'd pick the Jets.
Probably. I like to hurt. Sometimes it hurts, man. But so you like Carolina? That's actually interesting. So again, we're splitting, and we can go double or nothing on that.
I didn't say I liked Carolina.
You're not taking Carolina?
I didn't like that game.
Okay. All right. So you taking Carolina or not?
No, I'm not taking Carolina. I'm just taking Christian McCaffrey.
All right, cool. I'm gonna take New Orleans there and take it -3. We do have another double-digit line that you said we have two more. I'm looking at the Lions at Green Bay. Was it +11.5?
Before we talk about that, let's talk about ESPN's use of Aloe Blacks all night long on the broadcast. Did you watch that leading up to it?
I don't think I heard it. I was watching the game and driving last night. I wasn't safe.
This is a formal request to ESPN. We need, or Aloe Black, somebody. We need all night long on streaming services. I will die on this hill. That's a great tune to start off Monday Night Football. But I did see that, that's Green Bay Packers -11.5. What do you think about that?
Again, double-digit line. Jared Goff threw it for 60 times, so he's probably going to do that again. I think I think Jared Goff goes off for 300 yards, 3 touchdowns, and they cover.
Yeah, that's just. I mean,
I think they do.
Double-digit points is so. It just seems like it's so hard to cover. And the over/under in that game is 48.5, which is also very interesting because you think if Jared Goff's going to throw it again for 60 times, they got to score some, right? Like he's got to get a catch somewhere. They got to get a pass interference. They got to get, I don't know.
Plus the other guy on the opposite side is Aaron Rodgers.
They're going to move the ball, which, how about that? That dude looks like he double checked out of Green Bay.
Double check. And I'll tell you one more thing about that is there was something I was going to say about it. Aaron Rodgers, I mean, he's gonna. I forget what I was going to say, honestly, but
all this preparation.
I know there was so much pressure. Sorry, Aaron, I let you down. I think 48.5.
48.5 is all in Green Bay's favor at 11.5. It's in Lambeau. I don't know. I was gonna say.
I was gonna say Detroit has a terrible defense.
I was gonna say Lions +11.5.
So that helps.
But
+11.5.
No, I'm gonna take Packers in this one.
What if Jared Goff?
I'm gonna take Packers.
What if Jared Goff goes off for 300 yards, 3 touchdowns, like he's going to?
I think Rodgers is going to throw for like 600. I think he's going to have a big game in front of the Lambeau crowd, and he's going to bring it back to where everybody's like, oh, that's right.
Meanwhile, Aaron Rodgers this whole offseason basically said, I don't give a shit about the Green Bay Packers fans. I'm just going to stay in Hawaii with my girlfriend and fiance, maybe. I don't know.
I mean, wouldn't you?
Not if I was getting paid that kind of
Wisconsin or Hawaii?
Whoa, what's wrong with Wisconsin? Excuse me, Drew. We probably have like one listener from Wisconsin. I don't know. Which is the entire state, so that's pretty ignorant of you to say that.
Whoever she is. Well, I hope that she's probably just listening for the sound of our voices more than anything, so probably puts this on while she's going to bed.
So that's probably true. So you like, okay, so I'm taking, so you're taking Green Bay, plus 11.5.
-11.5 for Green
Bay. Sorry, -11. Yeah, if you get him +11.5, you take that all day. -11.5, boom. And do you like the over there? 48.5. If they're gonna, if they're gonna cover by 11.5, you don't want them. You don't think they're getting over 48?
I'm not touching that.
So That makes no sense. If you're going to take them for a plus 11.5, take the over as well, because if they're going to win by that much, they're probably going to cut. They're probably going to score
allowed
points.
to win 24-0. There's no rules against that.
There's no way they're not. There's no way they're getting shut out. There's no way Detroit's getting shut out. No way. All right.
I don't like it. I don't like the under. I don't like the over. I don't like the total.
That's fine. I mean, I'm fine with you making money on 11.5. I just think if you're going to do that, go all the way. Do you want to talk some overs? I mean, we talked a little bit.
I got time.
You got time for some overs?
Yeah, I got time for some
All right, cool. Got time for some overs. So real quick on these overs, I'll give you my ones. Obviously, we have Texans Browns over 48. The Browns went ahead and browned last week, so who's to say they're not going to do that again? And we might have some Browns fans out there. I apologize. That one had to hurt. That one had to hurt. Up on the Chiefs by what? 10 points, 12 points. You turn around and lose that game outright. That sucks. That's just tough, man. My over. If you're not going to ride with me on the, I heard Drew. If you're not going to ride with me, Drew, on the Detroit Green Bay over 48.5, how about this, Drew? Will you come with me on Detroit over 18.5? Detroit over 18.5 team points.
No, I can't do that
because you think they're going to win by 24-0.
Because it goes against my thought of if Green Bay is going to win by 11.5,
which and you think they are.
If you say that Detroit's going to score more than 18.5, right, that means that Green Bay is going to have to score more than 30. So right, ipso facto,
that puts
it's going to be over for the total.
Sure.
I don't like the total over in that game, and but you know what? In the case that I'm wrong and Green Bay doesn't win by 11.5, and right, it's like a barn burner 20-20 game,
right?
That over hits for Detroit. So I'll finish your thought, and then I'll
decide. So my thought is I think over 18.5. Green Bay gave up a ton of points in week 1, so they're already not feeling probably great about their defense. It's not supposed to be excellent defense this year. It's like middle of the pack. And Detroit put up a ton of points against San Francisco, who does have a good defense. And they put up 33. And so I think this gets over quickly. I think this gets over 18.5 quickly. That's my thought.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
So that was for what? That was for Monday night.
Yeah, that's a Monday night game.
Detroit.
Yep, that's the Monday night game. Yep.
All right, so I'll give the gang some Saturday or some Sunday action. Here
Sunday action,
and then Saturday action actually does come in the form of the blog. So
yes,
so keep an eye out.
We got some good ones too.
We do write things.
TakeTheOverPod.com.
Yeah, if you want to see a California University of Pennsylvania bachelor's degree at work. So how many English classes did you
I would
pass?
actually also like to see that too. Right now, we were sport management majors. This is as close as we've come.
Yeah, I think I remember I had one English class and I cried that it was too hard, and then it was taken off my schedule. So I don't even know if I ever completed that.
Literature and baseball 101.
So yeah, if you want to see some written word, that's where our college football stuff will be. But for my over, you know what? I actually just spotted here.
Yeah. I don't.
That's true. That'd be weird if you did.
Would it be weird if I did?
53.5 points.
That's a lot of points
between the Titans at the Seahawks.
All right, so you think the Titans just come right back?
Yep.
And they're just like, hey, we figured it out.
Yeah.
It took 1 week.
Yeah.
Ryan Tannehill.
Oh, that's right. We
thought the season started this week.
They said they got back to the locker room. They were like, oh my God, Derrick, when did you get here? You've been here the whole time? Derrick Henry's been here the whole time.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? Why do we give you... All right, we'll do it next week.
I heard they went back to the locker room and they started reading Twitter and they were like, "Man, people are saying mean things about us."
Yeah,
we should probably figure this out. They said we should be fired.
So I think Titans Seahawks are going to score a lot of points in that game.
Okay,
at least 54 of them, which puts that game over.
Okay, Titans Seahawks
53.5.
Let me write that down. Titans Seahawks over 54.5.
53.5.
53.5. Sorry,
it might be 54.5 by the time Sunday rolls around though. So
yeah,
can get on it.
Now let me ask you this: that game sits at a line of 5.5. At Russell Wilson in September.
You did a great job. I meant to bring it up at the beginning. You did a great job calling the Seahawks. Yeah.
Yeah. Russell Wilson is really good in September. Now he is coming. They're actually going to them. Pete Carroll has never lost a home opener with Seattle. He's never. Now it doesn't mean he'll cover, but he's never lost a home opener.
So he's lost more pieces of gum than home openers.
Oh, for sure. That man chews gum like it's like nobody's business. That man's ripping through some gum. So what do you think? 5.5. That sounds like a lot. Now, again, this could be one that you tease 3 points either way. So 3 points on the over, 3 points on the the line. Get the Seahawks down to like 2.5. I like 2.5 a lot better. I just think that the Titans have so much talent, but so do the Seahawks, and they're going to air it out. I definitely agree with the over there. I think that over hits. What do you think? 5.5? Is that too much?
No, I don't think it's too much because the Titans could easily come out and be the Titans that they were in Week 1.
Right.
Like you talked about Tannehill being so great, great last year and being, what did you refer to him as, like a top?
He was
something?
a top. He's been so since Tannehill's taken over for Tennessee, he's been a top 3 quarterback. The only quarterbacks that have been better than him, I think, are Aaron Rodgers and Patrick Mahomes, or Patrick Mahomes and Tom Brady, one of those two. And so when he came out last week, he just laid an absolute egg. That was bad. That was bad.
21 to 35, so 60%, and then 212 yards, one TD, 1 interception. Big issue was 6 sacks. 6 sacks against
5 of those were Chandler Jones.
Yeah, Chandler Jones did his thing.
He's on pace for like 85 sacks this year.
So over Taylor Lewan, who I saw, shout out Ben Carson, not that one, different one. Shout out Ben Carson sent me the Wikipedia page for Taylor Lewan, and it said the last line of the first paragraph of the bio was that Chandler Jones was now his daddy.
He did put a tweet out afterwards saying that I got beat today. Bad.
What? Yeah.
You didn't have to put that tweet out.
Why?
We have eyes.
Yeah, we get it, but wow.
You didn't have to put that tweet out.
We were sitting around thinking, man, did he get beat today?
I don't think he got beat today. What?
He tweeted, I don't know.
Maybe
should have.
Maybe just put an opinion out there.
5.5. I don't think that's too much at all for September Tannehill versus September Why am I blanking on his name? Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
I was going to say Watson. I was like, that's not IBM. That's not right.
And did you see the coach called out Julio Jones after the game?
No.
Yeah. Vrabel. Wow. Why did he just have a stroke? Does anybody smell toast? Mike Vrabel said he was basically, he's like, well, if they would stop making bonehead decisions out there and run the right routes and things like that, to Julio Jones, who knows a thing or two about catching football because he's been doing it for quite some time.
Yep.
So that's there might be some bad chemistry down there. So that's really the over. The only other over I had, I don't think Drew will agree with, was Saints Panthers over. I just think Jameis Winston is 1 of 1. He set a record last week. 1 of 1. He's 1 of 1. He has the only quarterback. He's the only quarterback to ever throw for less than 150 yards and have 5 touchdowns in a game. That's pretty incredible.
Less than 150?
He threw for less than 150 yards and had 5 touchdowns last week.
I mean, that's called creating a game plan for your players.
Good for Jameis.
Good for Jameis.
Good.
Yeah.
That's called LASIK eye surgery.
He probably. I was just going to say something about he can't see that far.
I think he's fine now. I think he's good. I think he's fine. So one of the things that so that's our overs right there. So again, those overs were Titans over 53.5. Detroit over 18.5, and Texans versus Browns over 48. I think if you're going to take any of those, Texans versus Browns over 48, I think that one's probably the safest bet. The casino had asked us to mention. They said they were getting a lot of interest in futures bets this week, and so there actually are some really good value in futures bets right now, especially now that you've seen 1 week, you kind of understand how the team's going to look, or at least how they're going to feel a little bit, or what their game plan might be. So that being said, I'll start with one if you want to find one, or if you found one that you already like, whatever you want to do. I'm happy. I'm here to help. What?
Listen, futures bets, I've not really participated in them very much in the past.
Sure.
But whenever you find out that you can bet on the Las Vegas Raiders just to make the playoffs.
Okay. What's that line like?
Plus 300. Las Vegas Raiders just to make the playoffs is plus 300.
Yeah, but they're in a division with the Chiefs. And the Broncos.
I think they're good enough to
and the Chargers.
They're good enough to do 10-7. The Chargers are fantastic, but I think that
and the Broncos.
But I think the Raiders are going to spoil everything, just like how they spoiled the Ravens last night.
Okay.
A new stadium. That stadium, by the way, did you see the whole I almost got goosebumps just looking at just watching the pregame.
Money looks fun.
National anthem, neither here nor there, but having Steve Aoki DJ your football game, and then having Bruce Buffer come out and do his thing, it's like, whoa, we're at a party and a football game broke out.
Really did. It really felt like that.
So I think they can make the playoffs.
Las Vegas Raiders to make the playoffs. That's a good. That's. I should be higher than that because of the division they're in. Honestly, if we're being honest, if you're gonna beat out 2 of these teams, either the Chiefs or the Chiefs are gonna make the playoffs. The Broncos or the Chargers.
I wouldn't be so sure.
I am.
All it takes is a couple injuries. You never know what's going to happen.
I'm sure.
That's why it's a futures bet.
Well, I guess so. Speaking of the Raiders,
That's what I like.
How about this for futures bet? Plus 3,500. Derek Carr to lead the NFL in passing yards. He's leading it right now. He's sitting up top. He's threw for like 435 yards last week. He's going to be behind in a lot of games. He's going to chuck it up there. He's like 70%, 68% in his career completion percentage. He's got some weapons, Darren Waller and maybe other guys. We're not sure yet because the coach hasn't schemed anything for him yet. But 3,500, how's that not worth $10?
Whenever you see the lights on at the casino, that was D-Nop's doing with plus 3,500 bets. Why would you take those?
I think he could lead the NFL in passing yards.
He could at a clip of plus 35 to 1. Yeah, he could.
Yeah, I don't know. I think there's value in that. Another
35 to 1. If you have a bag of orange marbles, 35 of them, and then
red.
you have one yellow one.
Uh-huh.
You think you're pulling out that yellow marble?
Derek Carr's that yellow marble.
I hope it happens now.
Yeah,
I really do.
I got $20.
I really do hope it happens.
Speaking of big value bets, if we're actually being honest, plus 3,200. Drew loves these. Steelers to win the Super Bowl. Who says no?
Why not?
I mean, they played well last week, did they not?
I mean, yeah, that's what Steelers to win the Super Bowl. I think that's
a plus 3,200 seems like a lot.
I wish we could pull the stats of that bet, like in quantities, like based on geographic region, like a heat map.
Oh, it's definitely
in the Southwestern, which I guess it's probably for most places, right? Like Baltimore fans think Baltimore's going to win the Super Bowl. They just put a couple bucks on it just to do that. But still, for Steelers to win the Super Bowl, I think if people are going to bet anything, I think it's going to be for the Steelers to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, plus 3,200.
Yeah, why not?
Those are big odds.
Here we go. Steelers. Here we go. Pittsburgh's going to the Super Bowl. Here we go.
They got Najee. Da-na-na-na.
Here we go.
Plus 3,200 though. I mean, why not?
They got Najee black and the gold. We'll add a line every week. They win.
We got Najee black and the gold. Here we go. And that's the one for this week. So
nice.
If the Steelers win, you might have a full course.
It's like the 12 days of Christmas.
But on the first day of Christmas. Christmas isn't giving plus 3,200 odds, though. I guarantee Jesus is not giving $3,200 odds on that.
Water and wine, no 3,200.
No 3,200 odds.
32 to 1, rather.
The other one that I think is, Drew, I think this is a really good value one actually here. Let me know what you think. Matt Stafford MVP. You were high on the on the Raiders.
I like that.
You were high on the Rams.
I like that.
You know what it is?
No.
It's 800. Plus 800.
I think that's fair. I think he very well could win the MVP. He's surrounded by a coaching staff, by
ton of talent.
Environment. You go from Detroit to Los Angeles. A lot of people would say you're doing things right in your life.
And you started a tech company that kind of worked out. But you know who's betting this one a lot, I bet you? Detroit fans. Because they watch him every week. If you weren't a Detroit fan, you wouldn't watch that team, right? So you didn't see him. I mean, these guys know, like, oh, this guy's special. Mm-hmm. And then America saw him come out because you see him once on Thanksgiving, and then America saw him because he came out on was it Monday or Sunday Night Football last week? 2 days ago, and threw for 1 billion yards, 2 touchdowns, 3 touchdowns, and looked like the dude was 28 in his prime. You know what I mean? So plus 800 is an insane value bet on that. So if you want to put a couple of bones on that, I think that one makes a ton of sense.
20 for 26, 321 yards.
Yeah.
And I was thinking too about because a lot of those quarterbacks, if you play for a team that has a great wide receiver, that wide receiver cannot be great unless the quarterback is average at least, if not above average. So I was thinking about like Matt Stafford is Calvin Johnson,
who hated that organization.
Yeah, I don't know if I could blame him that much, but if Matt Stafford's not there, is Calvin Johnson there? We may never know.
That's true.
But it's I was thinking about that. Think about. I don't think it has to be said. Everybody sounds like they're pretty professional in the NFL. But if Matt Stafford's in your huddle and he's thrown to Calvin Johnson and gotten all that, it's got to give your wide receivers some confidence. They're going to try and go get some of those balls, and understand that there was a couple of outside shoulder throws on wheel routes or going up the sidelines that I think the wide receivers understand that like that's where Matt has to put that ball and they have to make a play on it.
Right.
So and they have
you got to go off for your guy.
They have good enough wide receivers. Deshaun Jackson is still playing football. Cooper Kupp caught 7 for 108 and a touchdown. And yeah, that's what Matt himself went for 20 for 26 for 321 and 3 TDs.
I think that's an insane value bet.
And he stepped into his throws. I've always been. He
didn't have a pocket in Detroit.
I know it makes sense, but I've always been a detractor of Matt's because he always throws going backwards.
Right, throws a lot of sidearm,
which that's fine too. But it's like every time he stands still, he goes backwards, like running away from somebody that's running at him. Which I guess it's smart as opposed to stepping into them. But he was able to step into a lot of throws, which I think is going to help him be successful.
Yeah, and they didn't play a bad defense, and they lit them up. So, so we'll move on. We got just two things left: our Bet The Haus and a hot take here. If you want to see our parlays, you can check us out on Instagram at Take the Overpod for those. So my Bet The Haus, Drew. Maybe this is recency bias of me. Maybe this is just the fact that I'm just I just saw it happen. Kansas City's only 3.5 point dog or favorites over Baltimore. Only 3.5 over Baltimore. I think it's in Kansas City. I could be wrong on where it's at.
Baltimore.
It's in Baltimore. Either way. Chiefs 3.5. Don't overthink this. Patrick Mahomes doesn't lose in September. He has never lost. He's never thrown an interception in September.
Do you want me to overthink it for you?
Yeah, overthink it for me.
This is in Baltimore, and every time Baltimore is not really. I don't know. Did they chalk up this year because they lost their first string running back? I don't know. I mean, but. I think they're going to get a game like this against the Chiefs
and try to prove it.
This is Lamar Jackson's Super Bowl.
Yeah.
This is this is where he's going to do the craziest things, the most creative things. And if they work out, they do. If they don't, I think that, the Chiefs could win by a lot.
I don't know.
So I just wanted to overthink that.
No, I understand. I appreciate it.
I do like
Chiefs minus 3.5.
Yeah, I do like that too. All right.
How are you feeling your Bet The Haus? 1 for 1 this year.
So far, I have accrued 1 house.
And you don't have to shave your beard yet.
And I'm going to stay in the same city.
Los Angeles.
The Rams are at the Colts.
Yes, they are.
They're -4.
Yes, they are.
I'm calling out the Colts this week.
Why? You want them to lose. Lay over.
No, that's what I'm calling them out.
Oh, right.
I see you.
Sure.
You got me last week.
Yep.
I bought in. I felt like a fool.
Should have.
Now you're going to give me a house.
Was it -4?
-4 is -4 line is -115. So Rams -4 and get yourself another house.
Perfect. Rams -4 is Drew's Bet The Haus. Mine is Kansas City -3.5 over Baltimore. Both those are going to be good games to watch. I think those both are they both a 4:00 slate? Or maybe
Colts are at 1.
Colts are at 1. So you get 1 and then a 4:00 slate there.
The Colts loss begins at 1 p.m.
The Colts funeral begins at 1 p.m. and then we'll do our hot take here. Again, hot takes, guys. Just so you know, we don't count hot takes against our record because it's exactly what they are. They're hot takes. They're not supposed to hit, but man, wouldn't it be cool? It's one of those
it's from our expert minds,
right? It's one of those.
If anybody's going to give you a long shot bet, don't you want it to be us?
Sure, why not? Why not? We're not. We're good people. Maybe.
I didn't go that far.
Yeah. So that being said, this is my hot take is also a conspiracy theory. Aaron Rodgers is throwing this season. He's trying to lose to get out of Green Bay. He said to the team, "I'd like to be traded." They said, "We're not going to trade you." He said, "I'd like to host Jeopardy." They said, "We're not going to let you do that." Aaron Rodgers said, "Well, the fans hate me, and I don't care about that. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make them sad. I'm not going to play well." Aaron Rodgers' QBR last week, Drew, you're going to like this. His QBR last week was worse than if he would have just hiked the ball every time and threw it right to the dirt. He had a lower QBR than that. Aaron Rodgers is doing the worst job at hiding the fact that he does not want to be there. He'd rather be somewhere else. So he's already got, you know where he's going next year? He's going to Denver. He's already talked to John Elway. He said, "John, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to tank my value. I'm going to get down to you. We're going to win a Super Bowl." And John said, "I haven't felt this excited since Peyton Manning was in this locker room." And so Aaron Rodgers.
Is that real?
Huh?
Is that real?
Could be. So you know what? Is it real? No. Maybe. Is it more plausible than the moon landing? 100%. So if you're into conspiracy theories, Detroit money line +440. Monday Night Lights. Oh, why not? Bet it. Detroit minus 6.5 plus 800. Plus 800 minus 6.5. That's my hot take. Actually, I'll just take Detroit on the money line as a hot take because Aaron Rodgers is trying to get out of Green Bay. He said, "I'm tired of the cheese," and that's where we're at with my hot take.
Okay, thank you very much for your hot take.
Appreciate that.
I'm not going to bet that.
I wouldn't.
But I do buy your conspiracy theory. However.
Thank you. That's more important.
Yep, I think that's going to be good. Would you like a hot take from me?
Love a spicy take.
Well, you already kind of alluded to it, and I talked myself into it earlier. I'm glad I didn't say it earlier, so I could save it for this segment.
What were you thinking?
Houston Texans.
Wow.
On the money line.
Wow.
And on FanDuel, you can do yourself a little same game parlay with the over.
Okay. What's that?
For plus 869.
Whoo. I got to write that down.
Texans money line over 48.5.
Texans money line over 48.5 plus what?
Plus 869.
And
nice.
And that's actually probably going to go up because, it's actually probably going to, it's going to go.
Do you know what I found weird about that?
I don't.
So the Texans are plus 12.5.
Mm-hmm.
Their money line bet is plus 480.
Right. That's the same thing with Detroit. Yeah, they're plus 400 or 440 on the money line. Doesn't seem like
the Falcons are plus 11.5.
Right.
Their money line bet's plus 520. So their money line bet is, yeah. But so you I guess there's more calculations to go into that.
Probably.
But you think if the spread is larger, that the money line bet should be at higher odds.
Right.
But that's not the case.
Now, what do you think about, real quick, before like 2 minutes, what do you think? Tampa Bay, Atlanta, plus 12.5.
Tampa's gonna just absolutely destroy.
Okay. All right.
Like based on what I saw last week.
Yeah.
They have an all-star team.
Yeah.
Gronkowski is still unreal. I said it every time he touched the ball. Oh. Gronkowski is unreal.
That one-hand stab that he has, he just holds it out and just stabs it and
just
picks it up. Yeah.
And then they've got Antonio Brown, Mike Evans.
Yeah.
They have an incredible football team down there.
Yeah. Well, we did one thing this week. We did two things this week. Drew didn't talk about the Los Angeles Chargers, which is very difficult for him to do because he's a big fan now. I don't know if you guys heard. And I didn't talk about the New York Jets. So I think we did it. So go ahead and there's a write-up. There's going to be a write-up tomorrow or like Thursday or Wednesday, Thursday-ish in that area where you can check out all the bets we took on this podcast. There's also going to be a write-up of future bets. We got some college football lines. We got some live bets. You can see us live tweeting, all that stuff at Take the Over Pod. Again, this is the Take the Over podcast presented by Live Casino Pittsburgh. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. We definitely appreciate it. And good luck this weekend.
If you made it this far, thanks for the hour.
We appreciate it. Good luck this weekend. Let's take down the Haas.
Let's turn off some lights.
Let's turn off some lights, baby.
You to bet responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Boom.